Have you ever had one of those days where the house feels a little too quiet? Maybe the phone hasn't rung, the doorbell hasn't chimed, and the only sound is the hum of the refrigerator. You look out the window, maybe watch the cars go by, and you wonder, when was the last time someone really checked in on me? You're not alone in that feeling. In fact, more and more people over the age of 65 are experiencing something no one really warned us about: loneliness. And not just a kind where you're alone in the room. This is a deeper kind. The kind that seeps into the soul, that makes the days stretch out longer and the nights feel heavier. It's the quiet ache of disconnection. And believe it or not, it can be just as harmful to your health as smoking, poor diet, or lack of exercise. That may sound dramatic, but science backs it up. Studies show that chronic loneliness can raise blood pressure, weaken the immune system, increase the risk of dementia, and even shorten life expectancy. But beyond the studies, we already know it in our hearts. Because when we don't feel seen, heard, or needed, something inside us begins to wither. Now, here's the hopeful part. We're not powerless. There are ways to gently, gradually reconnect. Not just to other people, but to life itself. And no, it doesn't require becoming a social butterfly or doing anything you're uncomfortable with. It starts with little moments, small decisions, and opening yourself up to a few simple changes. Let's start with the first one. Reaching out, even when it feels awkward. For many of us, especially if we've lost a spouse or close friends, starting a conversation can feel like climbing a hill. What do I say? Will they think I'm needy? But here's the truth. Most people are also waiting for someone to take the first step. That old neighbor you used to chat with over the fence? They might be feeling just as lonely as you are. That friend you haven't called in a while? They probably think about you too, but don't know if you want to talk. It's never too late to reconnect. A simple, "Hey, I was thinking about you," message can reopen a door that's been closed too long. You don't need a big reason to reach out. You are the reason, because your voice matters. Your presence matters. And the world is better when you show up in it. Sometimes it helps to start small, maybe just one call a week. Schedule it like a little appointment. Treat it like you would a walk or a doctor's visit. Because just like exercise, human connection is a form of care. You may not always feel like it, but every time you reach out, you're watering the roots of your emotional health. Now, let's talk about something else that can make a big difference. Creating new routines that involve people. Not routines where you're just doing chores or watching the same shows, but routines that gently nudge you toward community. It might be joining a book club at the library. It might be attending a local gardening group or fitness class for seniors. Even go to the same cafe each morning and get to know the staff. That's a form of connection. When we stop having things to look forward to, life can begin to feel flat. But when there's a reason to get up, get dressed, and go somewhere, especially where someone might smile and say, "Hey, good to see you," it lights something up inside. And that spark matters more than you know. You might say, "But I'm not really a group person." That's okay. You don't have to be. This isn't about being the life of the party. It's about being part of something. Even small, casual contact with others. Chatting with the cashier, waving at the mail carrier, attending church, or volunteering can help remind you that you're still part of the world, that you still belong. And that brings us to something else that can quietly rebuild connection, giving your time, your talents, your care. When we feel needed, we feel alive. Whether it's knitting blankets for a hospital, helping out at a food bank, or reading to children at the library, sharing yourself with others is one of the most powerful ways to heal loneliness. The beautiful thing is, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up. Your presence, your wisdom, your kindness, they are more valuable than you might realize. And for someone out there, your smile, your voice, your helping hand could be the lifeline they didn't know they needed. Staying connected after 65 isn't about chasing popularity or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about recognizing that we're wired for community, that our hearts need others, not just in big ways, but in everyday moments. And that taking care of your emotional and social well-being is just as important as watching your blood pressure or staying active. The quiet truth is this: life after 65 can be rich with meaning. It can be full of laughter, companionship, purpose, and discovery, but we have to be willing to reach for it. to stretch a little beyond the comfort zone, to say yes, even when it feels safer saying no. Because loneliness is not just a feeling, it's a signal, a gentle whisper that says, I need more connection. I need to feel alive again. And that whisper deserves to be heard. Now that we've started opening the door, let's keep walking through it. Because once we take that first step, even the smallest one, the next one becomes just a little bit easier. And that's how connection begins to grow. Not all at once, but moment by moment, like sunlight slowly warming a cold room. Another powerful way to stay connected is by embracing technology. Not in a complicated, overwhelming way, but in the simplest ways that bring you closer to people you care about. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I'm not tech savvy. All this internet stuff confuses me. And that's completely understandable. But let me tell you something. If you can learn to cook a new recipe, tend to a garden, or figure out a crossword puzzle, you can learn just enough technology to open up your world again. It could be as simple as learning how to make a video call, to see your grandkids' faces when they smile, or joining a Facebook group where others share your hobbies, or watching YouTube videos that make you laugh or teach you something new. You don't have to know everything. You just need to know enough to feel included. Even sending a quick message to a friend or replying to someone's post online can create a real sense of connection. These small digital interactions can add up. They're reminders that even when people are far away, they're still within reach. And don't be afraid to ask for help. If you have kids, grandkids, neighbors, or friends who know their way around a phone or tablet, ask them to walk you through the basics. Most of them would love to help. Really, they would. And often, it becomes a bonding moment in itself. Learning something new together can build bridges across generations. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you. Pets. Yes, those furry, feathered, or even scaly little companions can be a lifeline when it comes to fighting loneliness. If you've ever had a dog wag its tail when you walk into the room, or a cat curl up next to you while you're reading, you know exactly what I mean. Pets offer a kind of love that's pure, simple, and unconditional. They don't care about wrinkles or gray hairs. They just want your presence, your voice, your touch. And in return, they give you purpose, a reason to get out of bed, a little routine, a companion who's always happy to see you. And even if you're not able to own a pet full time, there are still ways to be around animals. You could volunteer at a local shelter, pet sit for a neighbor, or even just visit friends who have animals. The point isn't ownership, it's connection. Because being around living beings who depend on you and love you back. Well, that kind of connection can heal parts of the heart that words sometimes can't reach. Let's not forget how healing it can be to spend time in nature. Now, you might be thinking, what does nature have to do with loneliness? But hear me out. When you walk in the park, sit under a tree, or listen to the birds sing, you are reminded that you're part of something bigger, that you belong to the world around you. Sometimes, being in nature is the easiest way to feel connected again, connected to the rhythm of life, to beauty, to peace. And it often becomes a doorway to other connections. You say hello to a fellow walker. You join a community gardening group. You chat with someone watching the sunset. These moments matter. So even if it's just a short walk every morning or sitting on the porch with a warm drink, give yourself the gift of being outside. Let the sunlight kiss your skin. Let the breeze remind you that you're still here, still alive, still part of this beautiful, wild world. Connection doesn't always come from people. It can come from presence, from being awake and aware in the world, instead of numb and closed off. And that openness, that willingness to see and be seen, is a powerful antidote to loneliness. Now, all of this talk about connection and community isn't about pretending that life after 65 is easy. It's not. There are losses of friends, partners, roles, routines. And when those changes pile up, it's easy to shrink into ourselves, to stop trying, to tell ourselves, why bother? But that's exactly when we need connection the most. Because loneliness is tricky. It tells you no one cares, that you're a burden, that reaching out is pointless. But loneliness lies. You do matter. Your presence makes a difference. And there are people out there who would be so grateful to have more of you in their lives. Even if it's not the same people from before, there are always new ones waiting. And sometimes All it takes is being brave enough to say hello, to show up, to smile first. So whether it's a phone call, a shared cup of tea, a walk in the park, or a friendly chat at the store, lean into those moments. Water them. Let them grow, because they're the roots of something deeper. A life that still feels full and connected, even after 65. And as we keep walking this path together, there's still more to discover, because it's not just about having people around. It's about feeling seen, heard, and valued. That's what we all want, really. And one of the most beautiful ways to find that kind of connection is by giving it to others first. One deeply fulfilling way to do that is through volunteering. You might think, I'm retired. I've done my part. Isn't it time to rest? Of course it is. You deserve rest. But rest doesn't have to mean isolation. In fact, many people discover that when they step into a role where they can help others, even in small ways, they actually feel more energized, more purposeful, and yes, less alone. Maybe it's helping out at a food bank or library. Maybe it's reading to kids at a school or helping with church events. It could be as simple as visiting someone else who's feeling lonely, just like you were. When you share your time, your kindness, your presence, you don't just lift someone else, you lift yourself. And the best part? When you show up with a giving heart, you often meet people who are doing the same. That's where new friendships are born, not from trying hard to make friends, but from doing something meaningful alongside others. Connection grows naturally in spaces of purpose. Now, let's talk about something a little less talked about, but incredibly powerful: rekindling old friendships. Sometimes we lose touch with people not because of anything bad, but simply because life gets busy. We move, people change jobs, kids grow up, routines shift, and suddenly months or even years pass without a call or message. But just because time has passed doesn't mean the door is closed. In fact, reaching out to an old friend can be one of the most heartwarming things you'll ever do, and chances are they've missed you too. So maybe it's time to pick up the phone, or write a letter, or send a message that simply says, I was thinking about you. How have you been? That small act of reaching out could reopen a connection that once brought you joy, and might do so again. Of course, not every old friend will respond, and that's okay. This isn't about forcing relationships to restart. It's about being open to possibilities. And sometimes, even if the person doesn't respond, you'll feel proud of yourself for reaching out, for choosing courage over silence. We also can't forget how important it is to connect with ourselves. That might sound odd when we're talking about loneliness, but sometimes the loneliest feeling comes not from being without others, but from being out of touch with our own heart. Ask yourself, when was the last time you did something just because it made you feel alive? Maybe it was painting, singing, dancing around the kitchen, journaling your thoughts, or sitting in silence with a good cup of tea and your own company. When you reconnect with the parts of yourself that bring you joy, confidence, and calm, you become more magnetic. People sense that peace in you and are drawn to it. It's like a light turning back on inside you, and that light tends to invite more warmth in. And here's the real truth. Connection doesn't have to be big or dramatic to be powerful. Sometimes the most meaningful moments come in the quietest ways. A shared smile with the grocery clerk, a wave to your neighbor, saying good morning to someone on your walk. These tiny interactions are like drops of water. They might seem small, but over time, they nourish something deep in the soul. Loneliness wants us to believe we're invisible. But these everyday connections remind us we're not, that we matter, that we are part of this human experience. Still, now, let's pause here and really sit with what that means. Because the message today isn't just about avoiding loneliness, though that's important. It's about choosing life, choosing to keep showing up for yourself, choosing to stay open, even when it feels easier to close off, choosing to believe that love, friendship, laughter, and purpose don't have an expiration date. It's easy to feel like the world is moving on without you, like you're being left behind as others rush forward. But that's not true, not even close. The world needs your wisdom, your stories, your compassion, your presence. So don't shrink back. Don't assume your best days are behind you. They're not. They're in every moment you choose to reach out, to smile, to speak, to try. And if you ever feel unsure, just remember this. you're not alone. So many others feel just like you do, hoping for connection, unsure where to start, and wondering if it's too late. But it's never too late. One hello, one kind act, one brave step. That's all it takes to begin again. You've made it this far in life. You weathered storms and celebrated joys. You still have so much to offer. And the more you stay connected to others, to the world, and to yourself, the more vibrant your life becomes. And maybe, just maybe, what you've been looking for isn't far away at all. Maybe it's already around you, in the neighbor who nods hello every morning, in the grandchild who lights up when they hear your voice, in the old friend who's still holding space for your return. Or maybe it's waiting in someone you haven't met yet, but who needs you just as much as you need them. Now, I know it takes courage. It's not always easy to pick up the phone, join a group, or show up somewhere new. It might feel uncomfortable at first, even scary. But discomfort is often the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. You faced tougher things in life, and you didn't let those stop you. So don't let this stop you either. Every time you say yes to connection, you're giving yourself a chance to grow. You're strengthening not just your emotional well-being, but also your physical health. Studies have shown time and again that staying socially active after 65 reduces the risk of heart disease, depression, dementia, even early death. That's how serious it is. Connection literally keeps your heart beating longer and your mind clearer. But beyond the science, let's talk about the feeling. The feeling of hearing someone laugh at your joke. The comfort of knowing someone's thinking about you. The warmth of sharing a story, a meal, a moment. That's the stuff that makes life worth waking up for. So here's the truth I want you to take with you. You are not alone. Even in the quietest moments. Even when the world feels distant. Even when days stretch long and silent. You are still part of something bigger. You still matter. And the world is better when you are connected to it. It's okay to take small steps. Maybe today you send one message, say one hello, make one plan. Maybe you sign up for that senior class you've been thinking about, or drop by the community center just to see what's going on, or ask your family to set up regular video calls if they're far away. Maybe you decide to start a small hobby group in your neighborhood. Whatever the step is, it counts. It moves you forward. And every step you take makes the next one easier. This journey isn't about being busy all the time. It's about finding what feeds your soul, who makes you feel safe, where you feel seen. That's what we all need, not crowds, but connection, not noise, but closeness, not more people, but our people. And sometimes your people show up when you least expect it, when you're trying something new, when you're giving back, when you're simply being yourself and letting the world meet you as you are. Let that be your guide. You've spent decades building a life, caring for others, and showing up for responsibilities. Now it's time to show up for you, to say yes to the relationships that nurture you, to gently let go of what no longer serves you, and to believe with your whole heart that connection isn't something you outgrow. It's something you grow into. So, I want to thank you for being here, for watching, and for giving your time and heart to this message. That alone tells me something beautiful about you. You're still open to learning, to growing, and connecting. That's powerful. That's inspiring. If this video touched something in you, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you felt the sting of loneliness? What helped you move through it? Or are you still figuring it out? Your story might help someone else feel less alone. And that's the kind of connection we're talking about, right here, right now. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like so more people like you can find it. And if you like more videos on living well, aging with grace, and staying joyful after 60, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. You are welcome here, always. And finally, wherever you are right now, I want to remind you, there is still so much life to live, so much love to give, so much laughter to share. Keep your heart open. Keep reaching out. Keep believing that even on the quiet days, your life is still unfolding in beautiful ways. Here's to living your best life at any age and never walking the journey alone.